Why, there's no echo here. It must be in your imagination. No, there was an echo. I had left something active that I should have muted, but welcome everybody to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and it is Wednesday. That means 2 fun-filled hours of the paranormal goodness and wonder for your entertainment, hopefully. If we do it right, it'll be your entertainment. Hope you guys are doing great. It's Hump Day's Eve, Hump Day night. Hump Day night, I guess is the right way to say it. But hope your week's been shaping up okay. It's been all right here. Been kind of fighting something, but I feel pretty good. Last couple days here, doing much better. So we got that going for us. But I'm not alone. As usual, I got my good friend and co-host, the one, the man with a plan. What the hell are you doing? Mr. Don. Oh, he's not here. All right, back to our regular. Oh, there he is. You freaking Muppet.
You freaking Muppet. Just a bloody Muppet.
How you doing? How you doing?
Doing good. It must be Hump Day.
It is Hump Day.
It is. Thank God.
Thank God, right? I know it's been a quick week overall. It's finally warmed up a bit here, so it's a little nicer.
Yes.
So Don, you got that feeling?
I got that feeling for the flavor of a Pringles.
Or for the paranormal?
Oh, no, for that I got a fever. I got a fever for the flavor of a paranormal.
All right, because we got some paranormal. And folks,
sweet.
The phone lines are open, so if you want to call in and be a part of tonight's show, you sure can be.
Sweet.
720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500 is the numbers for fun right here on the Paranormal Portal, so I hope you guys will call.
Call for a good time.
You better give out your own number for that one.
555-1414.
Check it out. All right, so I don't know what else to tell you guys other than this is we're off to start something. We're starting something big here, if I can spit it out. But I guess that's it, right? Time to get to work.
Yeah, let's do some work.
Time to get to work. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just being a dork. I was just being a dork.
And
I was just
something new would be.
Thank you very much. I'm just playing around, folks. There was no sound problems. I shouldn't probably tempt fate like that, though, because with our track history.
You think?
With our track history, my God, anything could go sideways at any moment. But we are here, folks, and as always, we've come with a full bag of paranormal goodness to share with you, and hopefully you will have a lot of good times. Hopefully you'll have a good time.
Good time.
You know, it's that first night back into it, Don,
right.
And I'm just trying to find my rhythm again.
It's your Monday.
It's my Monday, yeah. This really is my Monday, folks. So.
And I'm here to help you through it.
Which makes it completely a Monday. No, I'm just kidding.
We're screwed.
No, we're in good shape. How you doing, Ma? Good to see ya. Mom stopped in. That was nice.
Oh, hi.
Mommy, Don, Ma.
Hi, Mom.
And hello to the rest of you. Thank you all for being here and being a part of our journey. I guess it's as good a time as any, right, Don?
I suppose so.
It's time for the news. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Again, you're stuck with me. Can't get rid of me that easy. I'm here to stay. But I got some pretty crazy news stuff, newsy kind of stuff pull up, and hopefully it'll be good. some of it's more interesting, I think, than silly. There's one I'm saving for the end that's going to be kind of funny, but this one I thought was kind of neat. I've often wondered about this because, of course, we oftentimes hear about polar shifts and stuff like that. And I don't know if most of us even know what that means. I know I don't necessarily. I mean, I've heard of it. It's like, oh, that sounds weird. Like apparently at some point in our distant past, a place like Antarctica was tropical, or is believed to be tropical, and maybe when it was part of Pangea, the big supercontinent, or whatever, long before it drifted to
Lemuria.
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 Lemuria. What the hell's Pangea?
No, Pangea's too. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all
Two
right.
different things.
You had me all confused. I thought I was being smart, and then I thought I was being dumb.
No, you're being smart.
Okay, all right. Lemuria, Pangea, whatever you call it, there was the belief is that all of these continents that we know and love were once one.
They were united.
We were all united and fell apart somehow. But some people believe it's because of a magnetic shift in the poles. Well, the article I found may shed some light on what that could mean, if that is indeed the case. But this is coming from animalien.com. And it says the Earth's magnetic field reversal will dramatically change the life of mankind.
Gee.
Yeah, there's a little drop of sunshine for you folks. Sorry.
This to start your Wednesday out right.
Yeah, well, Yeah, and you thought you were over the hump. Nope, you were just coming to the hump. Scientists have found that if an unexpected reversal of the Earth's magnetic field happened, I guess this is a magnetic field. This isn't really polar, though, is it? Happened as has happened more than once in the ancient past. Oh, I guess it is. Okay. It would cause a complete collapse of the world economy.
It'd kill like most of the people on the earth.
Oh, okay. Well,
but yeah, that's a major collapse of the economy.
That really would. That would hurt the economy. The magnetic field plays a very important role. It protects all life on the planet from solar radiation. It also keeps the south and north in the places where they should be. It's like the glue that keeps us together.
Oh gosh, I thought that was called gravity.
It's the magic of love.
Oh boy.
All right. Recently, experts have begun to actively prepare for the fact that an unexpected change in magnetic poles may occur at any time. This phenomenon is considered quite normal and occurs approximately every 200 to 300,000 years. 41,000 years ago, the poles had already begun to change places, but this process turned out to be temporary and was not complete. The last change in the magnetic field took place 780,000 years ago, which means that the next time the process can begin at any moment. Agatha Pronovost warned that the next coup could have disastrous consequences for all of humanity. With a weak electromagnetic field, radiation from space could possibly make some regions of Earth uninhabitable. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just dying.
Take a drink. You'll be fine. And cause entire species to go extinct. But first, according to renowned scientist journalist Alana Mitchell, we would have problems with sensitive orbiting satellites which control electric grids and could cause a domino run of blackouts that could last for decades. As a result, there will be no benefit from navigation apps and satellites. Learn to use a map, folks.
Jeez, like that's...
Well, it's, at least you can kind of figure it out, hopefully. Mitchell warns that reversal could destroy anything electronic, including home appliances, satellites, wireless devices, and electric grids that make all these items work.
Oh, thank God for technology.
Yeah, well, for now. In an essay to undark.org, Mitchell wrote, "We have blithely built our civilization's critical infrastructure during a time when the planet's magnetic field was relatively strong, not accounting for the field's bent for anarchy." So they're totally making it almost human. And this is only a small part of the consequences that will greatly change the life of mankind. Wow.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, that's something we don't want, apparently. I didn't know that. Did you know that, Don?
I kind of had I've kind of talked about it before,
Okay.
If we have a major magnetic shift, it'll cause not just, power outages and things like that. It'll the oceans will go into upheaval. The water will do weird things. Places that haven't frozen like a long time will freeze like hell.
Oh.
But let's
Like Texas?
yeah, like Texas. Unfortunately, that's an unfortunate thing going on down there.
I know, right?
We got a lot of friends in chat and that watch our show that are in Texas, and
Yep.
well, all the love to you. We try to bring you some levity while you're going through this, and that's what we can do for you. But let's get back to this magnetic shift. Yeah,
You did say shift, right?
Shift, yes, that too. But that's something that'll cause worldwide catastrophe. It's not just to your electronics. You need to worry about your life because that's major stuff.
Yeah, your life is major stuff, folks.
Well, think about this though, because we had the sun went into dormancy in like 1847.
Oh, the mini ice age?
Yeah, no, this is after that. In 1847, the sun went into dormancy, and it was in a dormant state for like 10 or 20 years. Temperatures plummeted. Like average like 10 or 15 less. Minus 10 or 15 degrees. And crops wouldn't grow and people died. So if a magnetic shift happened, well, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong.
There is, and it's so unfortunately we don't know what that means. It could be horrible. It could be agonizing. It could really, really screw things up. But hopefully it won't be for a long time. I don't know. It seems like we're always balancing on that razor's edge.
Yes.
There seems to be a draw for people to make everything sound like it's scary. Be scary.
Be scared. Be scared.
Be scared because that's good money. That's good business when people are scared.
Yes.
And so there, it just makes me wonder. Well, it could just be a bunch of fluff.
Well,
too.
Talking about scared, firearm prices went up again.
Oh, well, yeah, that's just business. That's I'm sure there's probably good reason for that though. But yeah, just I don't know what it means. I just thought it was interesting. So maybe it wasn't the best place to start. Talking about polar shifts. Oops.
Oh, gosh.
Who'd have thunk it? All right, so let's go to something else here. Another little ray of sunshine I brought to you, which probably isn't real happy either, but it's very weird. Many of you have heard of the Dyatlov Pass incident in Russia, where 9 hikers, pretty experienced hikers, went missing on a mountainside. And they were found much later when they didn't return when they were supposed to. There was rescue attempts made, and they found their tent, which was cut, and the people had crawled out, and they were found in all kinds of weird states, like no shoes, barely dressed,
Stripped to the underwear. Yeah.
Stripped down to the underwear, running through the snow for a quarter of a mile before they froze. Just really, really weird, strange stuff. It's still unknown, although there's a few newer theories floating around now that they've got it solved. Well, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But there's some things that just an avalanche couldn't answer, and that is, like, there was tongues ripped out of mouths and stuff like that, and eyeballs missing and stuff, and some of that could be scavenged. But I don't know. I don't know. It just seems to me that whatever happened there, it was terrible. Now, another group of hikers apparently went there, and guess what? Tourists go missing while visiting Dyatlov Pass.
411 Russia style.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 411 with vodka. A tour group who had been visiting the site of the 1959 incident, it's 59, sorry, I thought it was the 60s, were reported missing on Wednesday. According to reports, the group, which consisted of 8 hikers from Moscow, all of which unregistered, had gone on an expedition to the Dyatlov Pass region earlier in the week and had been due to return on Wednesday but didn't show up, prompting concerns for their well-being. They were supposed to leave at 8 o'clock this morning, a local source said at the time, but they have not returned, and there is no contact with them. It is believed that the goal of the expedition was to pay respects to the 9 students who lost their lives under mysterious circumstances during a trek in the Ural Mountains in 1959. Led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, the ill-fated group had departed on January 23rd of that year. When rescue teams went to look for them, they found the group's tent, which appeared to have been sliced open from the inside with a sharp instrument on the slopes of Mount Kholat Syakal. The hikers' belongings were all strewn around the campsite, and a trail of footprints indicated that they had got up and left in a hurry, some of them without any shoes or socks. After following the trail for 1.5 kilometers, rescuers discovered 5 bodies, many exhibiting signs of physical trauma, such as cracked skull and broken ribs. Theories about what happened to them have continued to the present day. With any luck, however, such a fate will not befall this latest group to go missing in the region. Update. It has been reported that the missing group of 8 hikers, did successfully return from their expedition about 12 hours late. Navigational issues and bad weather were to blame for the delay. Well, that's good. There's a happy ending. Their communications equipment had also been broken, thus preventing them from making contact.
Yeah, it was only supposed to be a 3-hour tour.
Yeah. Don't kill again.
Kill again.
Well, there you go. That's at least a happy ending to that one, Don, right?
Yep. They're all back safe, warm.
Everybody's fine. Unfortunately, the original hikers, no, not so much. But at least this new group is. Here's another one. This I found interesting because, of course, we're dealing with a pandemic. Terrible situation. A lot of people are really struggling with this going on. And this isn't about whether you believe it or not. I don't really care what you think. Some people are really dealing with it. Some people seem to not have any problems. I know several people personally who've gotten infected and have had minor cold symptoms. Haven't really had much trouble, but I know other people that are like hanging on to life. So it's unfortunate either way. But what I found interesting was this article from unexplained-mysteries.com. All of the world's COVID-19 would fit into a Coke can.
Wow.
That's like all of it. If they were able to gather it all up and put it in one spot, it would fit inside a Coke can. So if you collected together the entire world's COVID-19 virus, it would even fill a standard Coca-Cola can. Christian Yates, a senior lecturer for the mathematical biology in University of Bath, investigates just how much space the coronavirus is actually taking up. Well, it's a virus, so, a drop is a hell of a lot of it, right? This is really long.
Wow.
We can just leave that at a headline. I'll read a little bit. I gotta see where there's. Oh no, it's getting in all kinds of math. So anyway, apparently there isn't that much. That's way too much math.
Relatively speaking.
I'm not qualified to even read that article. It's just using statistical and epidemiological modeling. They figured out that, if you put all the virus in one place, it wouldn't even fill a Coke can. But it's hard to believe that has had a crippling effect on our globe.
Right.
So that's the unusual part. So it sounds like, if you put a Coke can on the ground and flew up, and like say you're looking from space at the globe, it's hard to believe that something so tiny could have such a global effect. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm not going to read that. That's a lot less interesting once he started math and all that other stuff. Not that I hate math. It's just I'm just more math challenged. So it's interesting nonetheless, I think. So let's get to another one. And I think we're getting towards... No, wait. Oh, I don't know what this one. This one's kind of a weird. I just saw this quote and went, we should probably check into this. This is one that I just pulled up prior to the show. And it says, this is again, unexplained-mysteries.com. Loeb, E.T. hates grass and thinks we're stupid.
Oh.
Well, that explains everything.
That's why they do those crop circle things.
Apparently, Don.
They don't like corn. They don't know how to pop it. They don't enjoy it yet.
All right.
I mean, there's nothing better than popping a bag of popcorn and watching, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right?
That could be kind of nice.
Or the fourth kind,
Whatever kind you want. There's a few of them.
Yep.
Astronomer Avi Loeb, I think it's Loeb, has spoken out on why he thinks intelligent aliens may not be visiting Earth.
They lock their doors.
They hate grass, and they think we're stupid.
What kind of grass do they hate?
Well, Loeb recently generated a lot of press due to his theory that interstellar visitor Oumuamua was built by extraterrestrials, has been sharing his personal views on the topic of alien visitation. In particular, he shared why he believed that the Earth would not be a popular destination for E.T. The most common stars in the galaxy are dwarf stars, he told the Daily Star. Most stars are about a tenth of the mass of the sun, and they are also twice cooler than the sun, so they are red. They emit mostly infrared radiation, and if there is life on planets next to them, that life will have infrared eyes, and the grass will not be green on those planets. It'll be a dark red. So if you think about interstellar travel agents, they will not market the Earth as a desirable destination because of the infrared eyes of most of the creatures in the Milky Way. The green grass is not particularly appealing. They want dark red grass, and this could be an explanation for Fermi's paradox of why they don't come and visit us. Loeb also believes that our lack of intelligence could be a contributing factor. It's possible that they're not attractive, that we are not that attractive, and we are not very interesting in terms of our intelligence, he said. For some reason, humans do not cooperate, and that's really unfortunate, and it's not a sign of intelligence, so I can imagine a much smarter kid on the block. What should we do, he argues, is set up a UFO listening posts in areas with a lot of sightings. We should invest a relatively small sum of money. It will not cost much in deploying the best instruments we have now in the same sites from where the reports came and monitor the environment for a long enough time. Given that he doesn't believe anyone would want to come here, however, such a suggestion seems somewhat contradictory. Does this seem like a hit piece almost on this guy, though? Because yeah. I know that there's a lot of scientists that are really uptight with him coming forward with this spectacular claim that Oumuamua was probably space debris, right, or something of that matter, or could have been intelligently piloted. And for those of you that maybe don't recall, Oumuamua was that big, what was termed as like an asteroid that kind of came close to the Earth and made a weird turn around the sun that shouldn't have been possible. And it accelerated to a degree that shouldn't have been possible by just natural centrifugal force from the gravitational field of the sun. So it made some weird moves that shouldn't have been able to do. And so this is the former head of Harvard's astronomy. And he came on the record and said he thinks that it's at least intelligently created. And I think that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And this sounds like a hit piece to me. It's like they're taking a part of what he said in order to just make it sound ridiculous, right, you know?
Right.
I don't know. I that's my takeaway from this, because, you know, the established scientific field likes to keep their paradigm just like it is. And people coming in and making waves and stuff is a real threat to everything, including funding and all kinds of other problems. So I'm sure that there are plenty of people that really want to discredit this guy in a big hurry. So I don't know, take it or leave it, come to your own conclusions, but it's not very flattering to him. And he sounds like a really intelligent guy. So that's my 2 cents. You have a thoughts about that, Don?
You know, I do feel that if we do meet some kind of alien something out there, they are obviously going to be smarter than us, because they've already figured out how to traverse the universes. So I mean, yeah, we're not going to be the smartest kids on the block. And
no, I mean about Avi Loeb.
Oh, Avi. Well, yeah. Now, regarding him, yeah, he sounds like he's got his foot in some real intelligent thinking kind of stuff, and you know, I kind of like what he's saying. So I like him. I think people should start listening.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
And Brent's over there going, God, I wish he'd start thinking.
I'm just having a good time. Just saying. All right, let's go to the I think my last one. Yeah, I got one. One more to go here, folks.
One more.
This is one of those that I like to save to last because I think it's hilarious. At least the headline is hilarious. And you guys can come to your own conclusions on that. But this is from unexplained-mysteries.com, dated Wednesday, the 17th of February. Man fakes murder to get road cleared of snow.
Oh, my goodness.
So you ever been snowed in and you need to get to the store? Well, this is one way to get it done. A man in the Ukraine told police he had killed someone, so they'd come to plow his road to reach him. Totally fed up with the fact that his home had been cut off by an enormous snowdrift and seemingly unable or unwilling to clear the obstruction himself, the unarmed man, who hails from the village of Grybova Rudnya, in the Ukraine region, that's where I'm going to stop. I don't know what to do with that one, decided to get someone else to dig it for him. Rather than paying for the privilege, the homeowner, he came up with a rather strange idea of calling the police, confessing to committing a fake murder, so that when the emergency services arrived to arrest him, they would be forced to clear the snow from his drive to get to him.
Geez.
Pleased with his idea, he went ahead and called the police, telling them that he had stabbed his elderly stepfather with a knife and that he was willing to turn himself in. That's horrible. That is so horrible. He did, however, tell them that they would need to bring a snowplow if they wanted to reach him. Immediately after arriving, they discovered that the relative was indeed at the house, but in one piece and unharmed, said a police spokesperson. No one had attacked him.
Jeez.
The man was subsequently charged with reporting a false crime and wasting police time.
Yeah, and well, he should.
Yeah, it remains unclear whether or not his road was cleared of snow to his satisfaction. Well, I wonder how much of a fine that's got to come with.
Well, jail time is a good fine.
Yeah, I suppose they would probably lock him up for that. If it's anything like the U.S., that would be a felony, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah, reporting a false crime. You could just say, geez, I thought I did. Never mind. I was dreaming. I don't know. That's strange. But that, folks, that is your news. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are back, folks. Not a good way to ask for police. Yeah, Lewis, is not the best way to ask for help shoveling.
No. No.
I don't know. Just saying.
You're not going to have to worry about it for 3 to 5 anyhow.
No, he might not. Yeah, that's true. He might not have any shoveling to do for a long time, or a whole lot, depending on how things go in Russia or in the Ukraine. Maybe they got work camps. But anyway, there you have it. That is the news. Take it away, Don.
Dang.
Did you just choke up a little bit?
Well, I mean, I've got this really long article I brought up about how to escape the confines of time and space, according to the CIA.
Oh, dear God, no, we'll leave that one alone.
God, that thing's huge.
That's way
like
big.
That's like a 20-minute show by itself.
That is. It sounds incredible. Now here's an interesting thing, and it's kind of a follow up to what we just discussed on. What the hell isn't that opening? Let me do this. Hold on. We just discussed the potential of poles moving on Earth, and what they found. I got to see if I can find this. Here it is. It's a mysterious wobble on Mars.
Wow. Why
isn't it opening anything, though? What the hell's going on?
Open.
I'm clicking and it's not doing anything. There we go. So this is coming from Mysteries Are Unsolved, folks. And this article is, a mysterious wobble is moving the poles on Mars. So apparently there's something big going on Mars, or something new anyway. And this is, now, I realize this may not be paranormal in a lot of sense, but if it helps us understand what this whole polar shift thing is all about, I don't know. I figure it's worth a read. So bear with me. If this isn't your thing, astronomy, distant planets, doesn't interest you, hang in there, because we got a lot more yet. But this is the red planet, along with Earth, are the only two worlds in which this strange movement has been detected, whose origin is unknown. Like a spinning top, Mars wobbles as it spins so that its poles are constantly moving closer to and away from its axis in rotation. This has been confirmed by a study just published in Geophysical Research Letters, in which, however, the researchers admit they have no idea why. This is the first time that, apart from Earth, this curious swaying has been detected in a body in the solar system. Known as Chandler Wobble, in honor of the astronomer Carlo Chandler, who discovered the phenomenon more than a century ago, it is an effect that arises when a rotating body is not perfect sphere. The result is a wiggle similar to that of a spinning top that sways as it slows down. Nothing to do, therefore, with the smooth turn of a perfectly balanced balloon. The data obtained over almost 2 decades by the numerous probes that have visited Mars reveal, in effect, the planet's poles deviated up to 10 centimeters, that's it, from its axis of rotation, in a cycle that repeats approximately every 207 days.
Wow.
Okay. Here on Earth, the other planet in our system where the wobble has been observed, the wobble is much more pronounced. The poles of our world, in effect, deviate approximately 9 meters from the Earth's axis of rotation in a circular pattern that repeats every 433 days. Led by Alex Konopoliv, an aerospace engineer at NASA Jet Propulsion Lab, the team of researchers contributes with this work new knowledge about the interior of the red planet. In fact, the amount of time it takes for a pole to complete an oscillation cycle is a true reflection of how much the mantle of Mars can deform, which gives us new clues about its properties and its thermal state. In general, the Chandler wobble signal is very small. It takes many years and high-quality data to detect it. Previous studies on the same topic, in effect, had failed to reach any conclusion. So there you go. Mars is wobbling, Don.
Wow.
I'm just looking to see if there's anything more about it, but it really doesn't seem like there's much more.
Well, we have a wobble on the Earth too.
Yeah, that's what the article just literally said.
So
there's 2 planets, the Earth and Mars.
I was only listening to the part about Mars because I already knew about the part about the Earth.
Oh, Don, you bring flavor to every show.
Uh-huh.
All right, so that's interesting. I only wanted to read it because I thought, well, does it pertain to that polar shift thing? But it doesn't seem to.
I wonder if it actually does, though, because if on the wobble, if it starts to slip because of the wobble.
That's a good point. Yeah, it might. That might actually be true. I don't know. I don't have any answers, unfortunately, but it's very curious stuff. Incredibly curious stuff. I'm looking for... this is an article that we've been kind of playing with for the last week or so. But I wanted to get through this tonight. This is an article that we've been talking about where people are given their encounters with some kind of beings, some strange beings that they ran into. And these are really good. They're pretty small. They're pretty short usually, but they are pretty good. So let's get to the next one after I take this drink. This drink is sponsored by my refrigerator. No.
Oh, my God. Really?
This drink is brought to you by Safeway.
Wow. When are we going to get paid for that one?
I don't think we probably will. I just freelanced that, Don.
Dang it.
Maybe they'll pick it up and go,
I don't do pro bono work.
Oh, well, you gotta kind of cast some pearls and maybe I don't know what that means. But it says the first one that we're going to cover is number 15 on our list of 25. So looks like we got about 10 to go.
Well, you can do math. You can.
Little math.
You can do math.
I can work on rudimentary adding and subtracting, and then after that it's...
Did you have to take your sock off?
I actually took my slippers off for that one. I was wiggling toes when you weren't looking.
You're like 1, 2, 3, 4.
I came face to face with a massive figure with red eyes.
Ooh.
Now, the last one we read on this list was somebody that saw a deer person. They saw the silhouette of a deer in there. Just to tell you, because I don't think you were here when I went over it. They saw the silhouette. This person was in their bed. They saw a deer silhouette outside of their window, perfect rack and everything.
Right.
And suddenly it stood up and
Wow.
became human-like. And I was thinking skinwalker.
Right.
Because skinwalkers are not only dog-like or coyote-like, but there's also legend of them turning into
I would just think nice rack.
Oof. All right, let's keep going here. I came face to face with a massive figure with red eyes. It says, I was around 12 when this happened to me. During the time my brother and I shared a room with bunk beds. He had the top bed while I at the bottom. The room was quite long, but real skinny. Almost L-shaped, if you will. Anyway, I remember waking up late one night. At the time, I couldn't figure out what I was feeling, but now I would describe it as dread and extreme anxiety. I stood up out of bed and checked to see my brother sleeping, and as I turned towards the doorway, I noticed it was open. This is odd because we always slept with the door closed to keep the cat out. As I walked towards the door to shut it, I could see a shadow in the doorway that was illuminated by the hallway nightlight my dad set up for us. I peeked around the corner, and that was when I saw whatever it was that I saw. In the door was this massive figure. It had to guess probably around 6'6" or 6'7". Extremely lanky. The only detail I could make out was its long, skinny arms and its eyes, which were red. I remember staring at it for a couple of seconds before it entered the room,
Whoops.
having to bend at the waist just to get underneath the door frame. The last thing I remember was it rapidly approaching the bunk bed, and then it goes blank. I woke up on the floor early next morning.
Oops.
Yeah, right. I told my dad about it the next day, but of course, he chalked it up to a bad dream, and realistically, he was probably right. It is just difficult to get over the fact that to this day, I still remember whatever was in the doorway and the exact feeling I had from start to finish. The final thing about the encounter that convinced me something happened that night was my brother. About 2 days later, he pulled off his shirt, and he had what looked like 3 insect bite marks on his upper right back, forming a triangle. They went away relatively fast, but to this day, he has a mole in the direct center of where the bites were. That's creepy. So is it an extraterrestrial thing, Don?
Okay, so he says, the person says that basically they lost time.
Yep. Sure, because they fainted.
Yeah, out they go. Everything went blank.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sounds like an abduction. What'd they do to the brother, though? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a mole in the center of where he had 3. So it'd be like, like a 3-prong. And then,
Yeah, and the air escapes too.
yeah, of course. Well, yeah. It's,
Yeah.
Well, you poke something that's, pressurized, it has to.
It has to.
Yeah.
Something's got to give.
Yeah.
No, that's weird. It does sound like, is it spiritual? Is it extraterrestrial? I don't know. That's crazy. But here's the next one. I saw something outside the window that was not human. When I was about 7 years old, I was sitting in my bedroom with my friend Celia. We were playing, and I think we were building with Legos. It was late afternoon, and our parents were outside the front of the house just chatting, and my bedroom had a window at the side of the house. At some point while we were playing, I looked up and saw something. Oh, the cat?
Yeah.
Looked and saw something on the other side of the window. I have no idea how to describe this thing, and I haven't heard anyone else mention anything that sounded similar. From the neck down, it looked like a person. I can remember what it was wearing, but I think it was dressed in a dark blazer.
Nice.
The collar was visible, so I know it was facing us. From the neck up, everything started to look very wrong. Its head was heart-shaped. Its skin was brown and leathery, like the hide of an animal, but was slightly translucent. And beneath the leathery skin, I could see a thick, pulsing black and dark blue veins. There was no face. I remember looking at this thing for a moment, and it was like my brain had just fuzzed over, being scared, and I remember thinking something like, no, that's not meant to be there. That's not what a person looks like. And I remember mostly feeling surprised more than scared. I don't think I really thought it was real. I slowly turned my head to look at Celia, and she was doing the same thing, turning her head to look at me. I saw her wide eyes and her mouth hanging open as I realized we could both see this thing. The fear clicked in, and I thought, that's not a person. That's not a person. What is that thing? And that's not a person. I remember being paralyzed with shock and fear, and I wanted to bolt, but I couldn't move. I suddenly felt really sick, like the room was blurry and spinning, and I don't remember the thing walking away, but one moment it was there, and the next it was gone. Celia and I both stood up wordlessly and walked solemnly outside, and I remember feeling unnaturally cold, wobbly, and fragile, and a little too thin, like you do when you're coming down with the flu. I never feel that way, Don.
Okay.
I wish I did. We we walked to the front of the house and we each grabbed onto our parent and snuggled into them, and they finished their conversation. Celia and I never talked about it. Wow. So there again, and that's what I'm telling you folks with the paranormal. It's like you never quite have your hand on it. You never quite have your finger on the pulse of this stuff, because as soon as you think you got it all sorted, something like this comes. What the hell is that thing? It's wearing a jacket and the collar's facing towards the room, but everything else from the neck up is like a pulsating,
Wow.
heart-shaped, translucent skinned, veiny mess. And I don't know. It's just odd. Just really, really odd. But I don't have any answers, folks. I'm just bringing it to you. Make your own judgments, of course. I can't even verify the story is true, but it's one that I found, so I hope you found it entertaining. This one is number 17. I've had contact with the spiritual realm. Oh, we're going to the spiritual realm, Don.
Sweet.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. We're going in.
I'm Native American, and I've always been pretty in tune with the spiritual realm, if you will. For as long as I can remember, I've had a spirit that stays with me. Always chalked it up as an imaginary friend when I was a kid, and I named him George, and he's really been a blessing in my life. I've had plenty of paranormal experiences, but this one, there's someone else who witnessed it. About 2.5 years ago, my fiance and I moved into a new condo. We got pregnant about a month later, and I noticed that George had begun clinging to my fiance. He's always been a protector, and anyways, fast forward about another month around Christmas time, and I noticed that George wasn't around. Every night he was gone. I was visited by a little boy who was, what the hell was that? Who was scared and running from something. That something was an evil spirit in the form of a little girl. Every encounter ended with him saying, "She's here," and he'd vanish. I'd be overwhelmed by this feeling of doom, and then I'd see her. I got to the point where I was sleeping downstairs to avoid the encounters, and they seemed to stay upstairs until my last real encounter. I walk into the kitchen late one night to get a glass of water, and there was the little boy huddled on the floor. He didn't acknowledge me, which was odd, because he always came to me. He looks upstairs straight through me and says, "Goodbye." And just then, the little girl appears and takes him away violently. Turns out he was staring through me and at my wife. She had somehow managed to come downstairs unnoticed. She's known about my experiences but never seen one transpire. She knew then why I hadn't been sleeping in the bed. I'd had enough. The next morning I'd go out, buy some sage. As my fiance and I were cleansing the apartment, we began to hear a rather strange creaking noise, almost as if the whole condo was shifting.
Wow.
We make our way upstairs, and right at the top of the stairs, a huge gust of wind blows out the sage. At that moment, George had returned. All was right, and the little girl hasn't since returned. My son is now 2 years old and sees George, even calls out for him. I think it's cute, as does my wife, and it still kind of scares her because she knows of the things that I've dealt with. Yikes. What do you think of that one, Don?
So George goes on holiday and all hell breaks loose.
Or was he the little boy? Did he become the little boy?
But why would the little boy at that point say bye and look through him to his wife? I'm assuming it's a him. And then George come back.
Well, that's why I kind of thought maybe that little boy was George, because little boy was there. He was scared. George disappears. Right. Little boy starts appearing, talks about being chased by this evil, wicked little girl. And so then he gets kind of captured, but then they cleanse, and boom, suddenly that gust of wind, and boom, George is back. And the little girl's never seen again.
Oh, so maybe
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Well, it's an interesting idea. Is that it's the little girl who kept George as a little boy, and that maybe forced him into that. Yeah, that's a kind of an interesting thought.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got, but I mean, that's what I took away from it. Right or wrong, who knows? Number 18 is I saw a flying saucer while camping with a guide. I saw a real flying saucer for real while camping in For real. Sierra Fria, located in where's this, Don?
It's in Mexico.
It's in Mexico. It's Aguas Calientes, Mexico. Caliente is hot, so I don't know what aguas.
Spicy.
Aguas, hot water. Is that hot water? Aguas Calientes.
Maybe.
Mexico. Around 40 people and I were there making a campfire at night.
That's a lot of people to make a campfire.
That must have been a big fire. Suddenly, a flying saucer flew over us, and it was like 40 meters above us. One could see it clearly, and it had the shape of two plates pressed against each other, like the typical spaceship. Its diameter was around 10 meters. It had a gray-silver color. It had lights of primary colors underneath it, and it didn't make a sound. The guide wasn't surprised. He only said, "Oh, mira an ovni," which means, "Hey, look, a UFO." I don't know if it was made by humans or aliens, but I saw it. And everyone there, it was real. This happened in 2000, and now I think about it, it was spooky. Well, there you have it. I guess that's seeing is believing.
It's spooky.
It's spooky. This one's number 19. I was followed by a creature disguised as a human.
Disguised as a human.
See, that's what I think. Now, Don, remember that? I keep bringing up Mimic.
Yeah.
That movie, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen this, really interesting movie, but it's these enormous insects that have kind of adapted to look like people. And they look like, I don't know, it looks like they're wearing a trench coat and a hat, and they're just kind of looking down. But then when, like, all the people go away, one or two people are left, then they become the insects and they grab the people and take them away. It's horrible. But I always thought, oh my God, that's horrible. So this one is I was followed by a creature disguised as human. Let's see what it says. My university and the entire town really is surrounded by very thick woods. And since it's far north, it gets dark quick. It was late fall, about 10 at night, and I'd been in the computer labs since about 2 in the afternoon working on a programming assignment. I was completely exhausted and was happily heading back to my dorm. It was a Friday night, so I was very much alone in my walk back. Part of the walk was going up a set of concrete stairs, and as I crested them, I became very aware of the feeling of being watched. I looked around and saw nothing, and so I kept walking, but at a much faster pace, feeling as if I was being followed the whole time back to my dorm. To reach my dorm, you have to go down a twisting set of stairs and then unlock the main door into the building. As I unlocked the door, I glanced behind me out of habit to see if anyone else was coming up or near the top of the stairs. I saw a dark figure. It looked like they were wearing a hoodie, and their proportions felt off, like they almost knew what a human body looked like, but not quite. I could not see their face, but I knew that they were staring at me. I jumped inside my building, slammed the door, shut behind me. I still don't like being on campus alone at night, almost 2 years later.
Rainbow Dracula.
What? Rainbow Dracula? Yeah, it is. Whoever Rainbow Dracula is who submitted that story. So they never actually saw it as anything other than a person, but it looked maybe misshapen, but
right.
I don't know. That could have just been their nerves. Maybe it's just from hours of staring at a computer screen, working on programming. I don't know.
Being tired and on your way home.
Right. Could be. I don't know. That certainly isn't like proof positive to me. It's curious, but not necessarily a foregone conclusion. This is number 20. An unseen creature was inside of our room. I was in my brother's room a few years ago when something strange happened with a balloon. My brother had a red balloon in his room. Don't know where he got it from.
They all float down here, Georgie.
Oh, yeah. And I was just hanging out in there with my mom. My brother was on his bed, my mom was sitting in a chair, and I was standing near the door. Now this red balloon was about 4 feet away from me, pushed up against the ceiling, and I was looking in the balloon's direction, and all of a sudden it just falls halfway to the ground and shoots back up again. Everyone in the room saw it and freaked out and sprinted back into my room terrified. My brother was going crazy while I was freaked the hell out once. Freaked the hell once, and my mom was trying to calm us back. No one was in arm's reach of the balloon and its string, and it suddenly fell down and shot up again. Yeah, that's creepy. I don't know. Balloons always have that real gradual, when the helium's kind of dying, they kind of start they'll float about halfway and then they'll just end up on the floor.
See, now here's an interesting fact about balloons. Helium, when it gets cold, it contracts, so it gets smaller, right?
Right.
So the balloon starts to fall to the floor.
And when it warms?
And when it warms, it goes back up. Now think about this. People report when they have spirits near them, cold.
Right, good point.
And so maybe something was hanging out in that corner and chilled the balloon. Mm-hmm. And then when the balloon started to fall, it went, oh, I probably shouldn't be there.
Oops.
And went away. And then it warmed back up and went back up.
Yeah, that's a good point. That could very well be. That's
go.
A good debunk or bunk. I don't know if it's debunk. It's a good bunk.
Whatever you want. You call it.
It's a good hypothesis. Yeah.
There you go. Hypothesis, yes.
We saw inhuman footsteps in the snow. Went on a snowboarding trip with a buddy in Vermont. Ended up getting to a half of the mountain that wasn't open that day, and started going down the trails even though the lifts weren't open. Once we got to the bottom, realized there was no way to get back.
It's buffering.
It's green.
We're back.
Are we back? Are we back, ladies and gentlemen?
Ah.
Let me know. I'll reread that article because we weren't that far into it, but let me know, those of you in chat. Yes.
Looks good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it looks like we're good?
Yep.
All right. Okay. It looks like it's good, but I just want to make sure. Someone say yes, Brent. You're back. Okay, that's what I needed.
Yeah, Toasty Ghosty said we're back.
All right. Toasty Ghosty.
Toasted Ghosted?
Okay.
Got ghosted and toasted.
All right. So you can hear you. All right. So I'm going to reread this. I don't know where we dropped or if we dropped or what's going on. It says, we saw inhuman footsteps in the snow, went on a snowboarding trip with a buddy in Vermont, ended up getting to a half of the mountain that wasn't open that day. Started going down the trails even though the lifts weren't open, and once we got to the bottom, we realized there was no way to get back to the main lift, but we did see a trail that kept going down. Decided to go down that trail, and after about 2 minutes of riding down deep powder, realized it was a bad decision, and we were completely lost. My phone was dead, and my buddies had only a few percent. Managed to call Ski Patrol to describe where we were, and he said in the 30 years he had worked there, he's never been down that trail. So we began hiking back up in knee-deep powder, and there was these footsteps going across the trail that were huge and deep. I'm terrible with measurements, but I imagine if someone had taken those large snowshoes for hiking and made them into the shape of a foot. A Bigfoot, probably, huh? They weren't just in the shape of a foot, they were about 2 feet deep, opposite of snowshoes, and there was about 3 or 4 feet between each step, so they're pretty good stride. Actually started laughing at how ironic it was that both of our phones were dead when we found them. Yeah, why ain't there any pictures? Everybody's got a phone.
Can't get those pictures yeti.
Nope. Ain't got them yeti. Number 22. I heard the noise of something that sounded unlike any animal.
Well, then it wasn't an animal.
Yeah. So here's the first thing I'd like to say, though, is that there's a lot of noises that animals make that you just don't normally hear. Have you ever heard a koala bear? Those things sound horrible.
Scary.
They have the most horrid sound that you'd never expect to leave that little fluffy body. Mm-hmm. It's the most horrendous. It's just terrible. And I would never have thought that sound could escape that little, the little plush toy that they are. But they can.
yeah.
And so I it seems unless you're a naturalist or a biologist or something.
You've probably never heard these things.
Yeah, that's kind of my point.
Like a kookaburra.
What were you going to say? I kept interrupting you.
Well, no, a kookaburra. No, I wasn't trying to say anything.
Oh, okay.
Kookaburras are kind of scary sounding as well.
Yeah. So it says, my group of friends and I used to go drink and smoke at his really beautiful spot on a golf course in my town. Surrounded by thick, lush forests, we arrived one night. And we're just chatting with one another as we walk down the golf cart path, passing the tree line, and we all hear the most deep, horrifying, and distorted growl emanating from the woods next to us, followed by what sounded like a sapling being cracked in half. Oof. Getting squatchy up in there. We froze, exchanged, "Did you hear that? What was that?" and quickly turned on our heels and speed walked back to the car. The entire time it felt like eyes were on us. I felt watched. I kept glancing over my shoulder because I was convinced I'd see some huge creature coming barreling down after us. Got to the car, hopped in, locked the doors, and booked it. Never saw anything, but God, was that creepy and strange. I have to mention I live about 30 minutes outside of New York City. We have coyotes, foxes, raccoons, skunk, and every now and then the occasional black bear. It sounded like none of those animals. Coyotes have high-pitched yips and howls, and I've been hearing them my entire life. It wasn't them. Foxes and raccoons can make some god-awful noises, but they're also high-pitched. God only knows what noises skunks make. But I bet they're cute. Black bears would make sense due to the deepness of the growl and the saplings being snapped, but they're not only incredibly rare, it just didn't sound like a bear. It didn't sound like a real animal. It really almost sounded like a wolf growl that somebody had screwed with on audio software, making the pitch rise and fall from deep to impossibly deep, making it sound garbled and strange. It seriously almost sounded digital in a way. I actually want it to be a bear, just screwing around in a golf course, but I just don't. Ugh. It kind of sounds like the growl I heard when I was 14. Just a real deep rumbling growl.
Right.
And that's, stayed on my mind for years.
So red foxes as well. They make noises you would not believe.
Oh, yeah, they do. They have a lot of real weird vocabulary. So what does a fox say? You'll be surprised if you go listen.
It might scare the hell out of you.
You might wish you never knew.
I like that poster's name. Get the GD in the car. Get in the GD car. That's what it is.
Yep, get in the GD car. Number 23 is I saw a Sasquatch during a campout as a child.
Wow.
Let's see what this one is. I was on a Cub Scout campout somewhere in the woods by Knob Noster, Missouri. That's Knob Noster, not Knob Monster.
Ghosty.
My friends were back at camp, and I was in the woods by the campsite, and there was this fallen tree that was angled, and we spent most of this camp out trying to climb it. So I was halfway up the tree when I looked to my right, and a large, hairy orangutan-looking creature was looking at me and grinning. I was 7 years old, not on drugs. I saw an honest-to-God Sasquatch.
Huh.
Yeah, I'd believe it. I mean, there's so many reports, ladies and gentlemen, of Sasquatch watching children. Mm-hmm. And they'll sit in wood lines next to playgrounds.
Yep.
They're sighted watching children. And to me, it's kind of endearing. I mean, unless it's the buffet line.
Look at that. That's going to be a nice appetizer.
Yeah. You don't know what their motivations are, but if they wanted a kid, they would have gotten it. They would have gotten any one of those kids before they even knew they were there.
Yeah, and there's that story. It was like he was a 3 or 5 year old boy, went missing for 3 days,
and that bear took care of him.
He said a bear brought him home.
Yeah, it was a 3-year-old. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that that 3-year-old just didn't have a vocabulary to say Sasquatch. It just something big and hairy. Well, that's a bear, Yeah. So for a 3-year-old vocabulary, it's a bear. But bears don't generally tend to lost children.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
They may tend to them in other ways, but Not in the endearing, I'm going to take care of you and keep you safe way.
Yeah, like Aqualung.
Yeah. Now, there's another story I ran into years ago of this little boy. I think he was about 4 or 5, went camping with his family up in the mountains, and he wandered away from the camp and got lost. And it was in the woods, and he came across this huge hairy creature. And he said the creature took him by the hand, walked him all the way back to his campground, and stopped just at the wood line and ushered him into the tree, into the opening where people would see him, and then it disappeared. So there are plenty of claims that these beings are gentle towards kids for the most part.
Right.
Like anything else, there's going to be a barometer, a variety of that, and maybe there's some that just hate people. But
yeah, maybe they just know that they're that at that age they're still somewhat innocent and not out to hunt and creep around the with guns and stuff.
That's true. They're not usually armed at that age. They probably know that.
Yeah, they probably have an inkling of it. Yes.
All right, so here's another one. And then we got one more to go after this for this article. It says, we keep seeing strange dark shapes. Oh, hold on a second. All right, I'm getting plugged. I'm getting pluggy. Ugh. Let's go to Don Cam for a second. Talk to him, Don.
Hi. Welcome to Wednesday night. I should start reading that story and see how fast he gets back on the radio or on the microphone. So a couple things. Don't forget, we've got Teespring. That's teespring.com/stores/paranormal-portal for all your paranormal portal type gear. Also, June 18th, 19th to 20th is the, I don't know what he called it, the Medellin Falls event. It's like, it's the Bigfoot event with Stephen Majors and Extreme Expeditions LLC, Northwest LLC. We're going to be there. We're looking forward to that. So get your tickets now because it's not a big venue either. So you want to get that. And another thing is, back to you, Brett.
Well, that's a good point. And again, it is a small venue. It's going to be it's not like it's at a convention center. Mm-mm. This is a small town and it's nestled in the mountains. It's about the most beautiful, picturesque place that you're going to see. And literally, it is. If you would blink as you're driving on the main road, you would miss this town. Mm-hmm, that's how small it is, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. We had the opportunity to go to the Bigfoot roundup there last year, and it was fantastic.
Medellin Falls Town Hall.
Oh yeah, the town hall.
It
was the town hall. Roundup was in Spokane.
Spokane thing.
That's true. Yeah, it was the Medellin Falls Town Hall, right. And it was a great event. Adam Davies spoke there, but this year Bob Gimlin's speaking there. Mm-hmm. Ken Gerhard's going to be there. There's more guests being announced, and Amy Boo's going to be there.
It's going to be big.
There's a lot of things going on, and this is a chance to get together with us and hang out. So if you can make the journey, please make it. It's going to be a great time, and we hope to see some of you guys there. All right, so back to our article. Sorry about that. It's just I'm on the mend. I'm pretty sure I almost came down with something horrible, but it's like I've just been really focusing on not getting sick, and so far I'm winning, but it's still just it's really nasty. All right, so we kept seeing strange dark shapes. It says, when I was in college, I lived in a dorm for native students. It was the first multicultural house in the Greek village, and we were so proud. About 9 of us lived there. The college was built on our tribe's old wintering grounds, and the school had disposed of things in a pretty shady way back in the 70s and 80s. Anyway, over the first few months we lived there, several of us noticed strange things. We weren't comfortable by ourselves, and we'd see black people shapes out of the corners of our eyes. Mm-hmm. Somebody even swore they had a conversation with me when I wasn't even in the house. They said the me was a bit off and vacant and strange, and they couldn't figure out why. This happened with a few of us, and things were being broken and misplaced, and we would hear strange wind noises sometimes. We finally went to someone in our tribe who dealt with things like this. He came and cleared the house with tobacco and water. We prayed and cleansed ourselves, and 2 of us stayed in the house while he worked. I distinctly remember him walking through the darkened living room once, opening the door, and hearing what sounded like a tornado whiz through the room very quickly. And then it was over. Turns out it wasn't malevolent or anything, just something that had attached itself to the land. We never had any problems after the cleansing. That's really powerful. And that's the thing we talk about many times on the show. We've talked about, because people have asked me what causes hauntings. Well, oftentimes we think it's got to be an old house. It's got to have had tragedies or horrible things happen, and that's what leaves the imprint. And that certainly can be a recipe for this, but it can also be brand new houses, and there's something with the land.
Right.
Well, these lands were sacred and were very shadily appropriated by people, and which is truly unfortunate.
I like the sentence that says the college was built on our tribe's old wintering grounds.
Right.
So go figure that. I mean, people die during the winter.
Oh, sure.
You know, and where are they going to put bodies in the winter?
Yeah, right where they are, probably.
Right where they are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or, over there 50 feet, but still.
Right.
So, yeah, that's possible too. But don't forget about attachments either, though, because, they're not always attached to a place or a thing.
Yep.
They can be attached to any kind of a noun. Let's say that. Noun.
That's pretty true. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it.
You just don't want them to be possessive nouns.
So, I mean, these things can come any number of reasons. You're absolutely right. So, the land can come with problems, and then you put a nice house on it. It doesn't make the problems go away.
No, it just makes the nice house less appealing.
It makes your nice house a lot less nice.
Well, it was Greek row, so
Yeah, there's already debauchery going on there. That's
a lot of bad energy.
Yeah. So this one is number 25 and should be the last one, and it is. And this is I saw a strange reptilian creature. About 7 years ago in Sierra Vista, a little city in Arizona, about 15 miles from the Mexican border. Misfortune. Good food.
Good food.
Misfortune had hit hard, and I'd been homeless for about 6 months at that point. Wow. Yeah. So the usual schedule for me was to be awake until sunrise. The nights were cold, and staying moving kept me warm. And the first rays of sunlight were so warm that I was able to sleep. And I'd only sleep a little bit before I was back up and hitting a local charity for lunch. Cat nap through dinner, wake up as the sun goes down, and wander through the desert to stay warm until sunrise. I run you through my schedule so that you know this thing happened during my normal operating hours while I was fully awake. It is not possible that this was a dream and not likely to be my imagination. Excuse me. So I had 2 routes during the day that I would be in town, so I would be unarmed. But I had a straight-edged sword back in my burrow that I had bought when I had a job and a car and a house. During the night, I wandered the desert and would often be exploring far enough out that I could no longer even see the lights in town. So I would wear my sword sheathed on my back, just in case measure. And I'd really only ever used it to carve up a yucca stalks for the roof of my burrow. Okay. Okay, setup complete. Here's what I saw. I'm walking along, following the edge of a small wash, twirling a stick I found. I had walked for about an hour to get there, so I was probably a good 5 or so miles from any human on the planet. I hear a thump from up ahead, but there's some scruffy bushes ahead, so I can't see anything. Not wanting to sneak up on something dangerous like a mother javelina or a bear, I take my stick and smack the nearest tree a couple of times.
Oops.
Thumping stops, and about 30 feet ahead of me, I see a head poke up from behind the bush. A head that I've seen before, kinda. It had big eyes, tufty bits on it, and was basically set up like any other primate face, but it also looked almost reptilian. So I did what any normal person would do. I grabbed my sword handle and yanked it. Well, it doesn't really work like that. I yanked it forward and accidentally broke the strap that kept the sheath on my back. So here I am brandishing a sheathed sword at a lizard monkey 5 miles from nowhere, And it stands up to a full height of 4 feet. And Hussein bolts itself away from me with this ostrich person gait. It was more awkward to watch than it was scary. Wow. I don't know. It's only 4 foot tall, though. I don't think it's just a young one. I think it's perhaps, what are they called? The albato witches and stuff.
Oh.
What else are there? There's these monkeys that are seen in like New England area, in the forest there, that apparently attack everything. They're really
Remind me not to go.
Right. They're these really ferocious, big teeth, almost look like baboons.
Wow.
But I don't know what this person saw. But anyway, that's plenty scary.
Well, desert, reptilian thing makes sense, and
Sure.
they talk about 2 different types of reptilian aliens, if you will, draconians, and then the smaller ones.
I like that pause. That build was awesome. That was good. No, you're right. There's all sizes and types. Now in Australia they talk about the smaller versions too.
Right.
And by small, it's like a dwarf version of a yowie. It seems to look very similar, have the same hairy build and stature, but just much smaller, much more diminutive, and they don't look like children. We oftentimes we always equate, oh, that's just a baby, that's just a toddler Bigfoot.
Right.
Well, if it is, there's a big one right next to it.
Yeah, there's one somewhere near.
Yeah.
It's like that baby bear you found,
Yeah. Guess what? It's not really lost. The baby bear's not really lost. Don't approach it.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's just fine. In fact, when I first moved into this area, I've told this story before, but I saw a baby grizzly up on Schweitzer.
Oh.
And it was going up towards this big moose at our pole.
Right.
On one of those cutouts,
Right.
as you're switchbacking your way up. And this little bear got to about within 50 feet of it. And then all of a sudden his ears perk up and he turns back towards the forest. And then he bolts over there.
Mama's calling.
Yep.
Get away from that moose, you idiot. It's bigger than you. Hell, it's bigger than me.
Yeah, no. I was thinking, oh, no, I'm going to watch this little bear get killed. But the mom called it off. And you knew Mom was in that forest watching.
Yep.
But she was smart enough to stay hidden. So don't ever trust a bear alone. That's all I'm saying.
What is a boogwoosh?
Huh?
Natives on the West Coast talk about a boogwoosh, a smaller, hairy creature similar to the Sasquatch.
There you go.
Well, now I'm going to have to look it up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look that up. I can't ever remember the names. There's so many names floating around, and that's the hard part. But very interesting. Thank you, Dawson, for that tip. Don will be researching that.
I probably spelled it all wrong.
Well, what is he? Did he name it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Spelled it.
Bugwoosh.
Oh, yeah, I did. But, that's me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, bugwood? No, not bugwood.
That's the critter my brother and I wanted to get from the zoo when I actually tried to climb onto my brother's shoulder, but it was an enclosed environment. What is this, Aiden? See, I'm not sure.
WOOSH.
Yeah, that's very curious. But there are not just one size fits alls for these cryptids. There are similarities, and then you move down to like puckwudgies and things like that, and you get into the real small, like the gnomes and duendes and stuff, and so there's a whole I don't know, catalog of creatures out there. We're kind of conditioned to say there's Bigfoot, there's dogmen, there might be rakes or other kind of things like that, but that's about it. But there's actually so much more. We just covered stick people the other night on the show, and that was really interesting. On Sunday, was that Sunday show? Yeah. We did a cryptid corner on the night terrors. If you haven't seen that, check it out. And by the way, make sure you check out our podcast too. The podcast is out there, ladies and gentlemen. It was a good podcast. We got together with Bruce Trott and Bob Kinney of Chewelah Bigfoot Research and had a great discussion. So, sorry. I'm trying to keep my nose open.
So I type in bugwoosh and I come up with a whirling whimpus.
Whirling Wimpus?
That's from Cryptid Wiki.
All right. Well, I got another article here for you about Bigfoot. How about we get to that? If you find something, let us know, buddy.
Sure.
All right. Here's the next article, folks, and this is coming from the Gazette. And the Gazette says, Bigfoot report describes odd encounter in Colorado's Summit County. Summit County, sorry. Yeah, I'm just not quite myself tonight. as much as I want to be. Let me blow this up a bit so I don't have to squint as much. It says, believe it or not, Bigfoot has been reportedly spotted in Colorado more than 100 times in recent years, including one notable daylight spotting that occurred in Summit County, Colorado. During the summer 2019, spotting a daytime hiker was during a daytime 2019 spotting, a daytime hiker was taking a break near an old log cabin in the area of Mayflower Gulch near Frisco when he spotted something odd about 11,000 feet of elevation. He reports seeing a large bipedal creature attempting and failing to climb a 20-foot high snow wall. After the failed attempt at scaling the barrier, the creature moved on and out of sight. The hiker was joined by 2 others to conduct a search of the area. During this search, the group was able to locate prints in the snow, including large handprints and footprints, which were photographed. That being said, they were unable to again locate the actual creature. The reported run-in with the mysterious creature, along with photographic evidence of the prints, was enough to prompt Bigfoot field researcher organization to investigator Scott Miles to further look into the report. Miles decided to meet up with the witness at the site of the spotting with a second investigator, Scott Walker, at the scene. The witness was able to recount the sighting in a manner consistent with the initial report, pointing out exact landmarks involved in the story. After deeper analysis of the witness account, investigator Scott Miles wrote, I believe that he, the witness, saw exactly what he reported and was a witness to a Sasquatch, probably a young individual, that accidentally or naively got caught in a compromising situation in the daytime of a fairly high-traffic area. This sighting is considered to be a Class A sighting, meaning that misinterpretation or misidentification of a sighting can be ruled out with greater confidence, compared to other sightings that may occur in dark or obscured settings. Summit County is no stranger to Bigfoot sightings, with multiple sightings in the area having been reported in the past. One notable local finding was covered by Summit Daily in 2003, sparked by the discovery of a mysterious footprint near Buffalo Mountain. So, there you go. When was this dated? This is just January 2nd, so it's just this year.
Yeah.
That's right after New Year's.
There was something I wanted to say.
It was updated the February the 8th. But
I forgot what I was...
I
read something. I forgot what the heck I was going to say to it. So anyhow.
Well, I did pull up the... Did I screw you up?
No.
Oh, okay. I did pull up the BFRO report as well. And thought it'd be kind of neat to go through that because the article was okay, but seems to be a little more narrative in here. So this is from July 25th of 2019. So it was actually a couple of years ago when the actual event happened. In Colorado, Summit County. It says, stopped at a paved parking lot off of CO 91 to enter dirt road up to Mayflower Gulch. Head south up road at closed cattle gate, walk to right past wooden barrier, fence up, trail past 2 switchbacks, small white rock. Oh, okay, so this is the location details. We don't need all that. This was between Climax Pass and Copper Mountain, Colorado. Nearest road is CO 91. On Thursday, July 28th or 25th, my girlfriend and I were hiking in Mayflower Basin, south of CO 91. We were up in the basin, and Helen had gone ahead to the foot of the basin. I was about 100 yards off the 3 minor. What is this? Why is this? I gotta go over. Okay, there we go. Blah blah blah. Where was it? I was about 100 yards off the 3 minor log cabin remnants, sitting on a rock enjoying peanuts and water, when looking west, I saw a very large brown biped approach the snow wall cornice and seek to climb it. The biped was unable to climb up over the 20 feet, moved back down laterally to its right, and then down to the ground off the snow. It then walked on 2 legs very briskly to the right, subsequently out of my view. About 4 to 5 minutes later, a hiker with his dog came walking down the trail, and I later saw this brown biped from time to time walking above the snow cornice southbound. Did not see it again. Helen returned to me. We discussed, and then we walked down to the locked gate prohibiting cars into the basin to talk with the hiker. His name was Robbie, his dog Dallas, and we agreed to scale up the trail to where I had seen the brown biped. Helen took longer, but Robbie and I reached the area, found handprints in the snow in an arch. One print lower with 3 big fingers and 1 thumb. Footprints were not descriptive of toes, arch, and heel, but we took phone photos and will share if interested, and we then travel to the right, or traverse to the right, north on difficult terrain, and that is quite slanted, where the biped moved quickly and easily. No further sighting. This was now about 2:30 p.m. when Inhead had seen the biped about 1:45 p.m. I had. Okay, just an extra letter. Okay. Returned back to dirt road and the parking lot by bushwhacking through forest. Also noticed brown biped sought to scale the snow wall. Tried only once and then moved laterally. Yeah, because he failed. It's like, no, they saw me.
Could you imagine he looks around and goes, did anybody see me?
Yeah, he just looked around going, God, they saw that. Tried only once, then moved laterally to the right off of snow. Then moved very briskly to the north, almost running when Robert and I got there. Very hard for us to traverse. He is 47, Gulf War veteran, and I and 6, and even with 2 ski poles for stability, had to traverse. No one deciding of biped. Robert and I saw hand marks in the snow reaching icicle maybe, I don't know, above footprints, well above our reaching. Was sitting on a rock in a basin eating peanuts and drinking water. My vision was tested the day before, 2010. Other stories: Google Bigfoot, Summit County, Colorado, 2 sightings, 98 and 2003. Also article in Summit County Daily News, and multiple sightings in Park County to the south and Eagle County to the northwest have been reported back to 1800s. So it was just a weird thing, right? I just wonder if they did actually include. Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah.
So those are some of the foot. He was trying to go up and over but couldn't. Handprints and tracks with ski pole for reference. Huh. So they're kind of ambiguous though, even though.
Yeah.
There's the finger marks.
So that'd be like when they do the palm thing.
Yeah. Like he was trying to dig in and maybe get something there but couldn't.
Oh.
Wow.
That's true. Wow.
He was working at that, huh?
That was 20. Scroll back up a little bit, just to the top. So like 20 feet. That's 20 feet.
Yeah, that's 20 feet, and this is.
That's halfway up it.
At least, yeah. So that's a good 10-foot reach, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
His feet are down here. Yeah. Wow. Let's get to this one again. I want to see. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Huh.
Okay. Well, there's a report. I thought it was interesting because it's rather new. I didn't realize the event actually happened in 2019, but still, very curious all the same. Don, that's very curious all the same.
It is very curious. It gets curiouser and curiouser.
And curiouser and curiouser. Now I got an article here I thought would be kind of interesting. I don't know if there's any truth to this. I wish I could talk to Donald Raymond Schmidt about this, but this is a claim. This article is coming from Phantoms and Monsters, which is Lon Strickler's site, and covering an Army Air Force flight nurse who claimed that she interviewed Roswell incident alien entity. Now, she claims it was telepathic, which, may make sense. But some of the details in the story are kind of way out there, and I'll just be the first to tell you. I never have heard this take before. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't, but it's interesting all the same. Again, she's claiming that she talked with the surviving alien from the Roswell recovery. And that's, I imagine, Wright Patterson. But let's see what this says. Let me see. And again, this is from Phantoms and Monsters. And I'm going to blow it up before I try to read it. Kapew!
Pew, pew.
All right, here we go. Whoa, what the hell happened? Whoa, did you see that?
Ah,
there we go.
wow.
According to a recent article, excerpts from the notes and documents of Matilda O'Donnell McElroy, Senior Master Sergeant, Women's Army Air Force Medical Corps, claimed that she had interviewed an alien named Airl, A-I-R-L. How would you spell that?
I would say
Airl?
Yeah.
Okay. Who told her where they had come from and why they came to the Earth. Matilda was only 23 years old when she interviewed the alien through telepathy. She was the only person at the base who had the ability to talk with the beings through the mind. In her interview with Errol, she found out that the alien was not a biological being, had female-like appearance, and also had not been injured during the crash.
Wow.
She noted that the alien was about the size of a small child and was only survivor among 3 crew members of the ship that had crashed in New Mexico. Her body was made of synthetic material, which means she was an alien robot controlled by a higher-order being.
Wow.
According to the book Alien Interview, which is based on the notes and documented interviews by Matilda, the UFO was made of the same material as the alien body. It was controlled by the mind and thoughts. Matilda noted that the Errol did not give her any information related to her language or the location of her planet. She was uncertain about the intentions of military officers, and that made her refuse to disclose any secret information to humans. The nurse called it a serious sign because if aliens did not find themselves safe on Earth, then it could be a big problem for humans. Errol called her civilization very powerful, extremely ancient, and above all, their only goal was to progress. In the letter, McElroy writes, mankind needs to know the answers to questions which are contained in these documents. Who are we? Where did we come from? What was our purpose on Earth? If there is intelligent life elsewhere in the universe, why have they not contacted us? It is vital that people understand the devastating consequences of our physical and spiritual survival if we fail to take effective action to undo the long-standing and pervasive effects of alien intervention on Earth. When Matilda asked Errol how long she had been visiting Earth, her answer was long before humans.
Wow.
Now, the document is actually here. The following is excerpted from a letter I received from Matilda O'Donnell McElroy, Senior Master Sergeant, Women's Army Air Force, Medical Corps, retired. I'm not sure who received it, but maybe it was Lon. I don't know. Very interesting, though. But here's the actual letter. And just to paraphrase some of it, when I arrived, I learned that one of the 4 personnel on board of the craft had survived the crash and was conscious and apparently uninjured. I immediately detected that the alien being was attempting to communicate with me by mental images or telepathic thought. I reported this phenomena to Mr. Cavett, as no other person present could perceive these thoughts, and the alien seemed able and willing to communicate with me. It was decided after a brief consultation with a senior officer that I would accompany the surviving alien back to the base. So that's very strange. And there's very little to go on here from just this letter, but this was from August 12th, 2007. So that very well could have been something that was sent to Lon. Very cool, though. In this article, if anybody's interested, I'll copy it, and you can check out, the full report and the full letter. Let me see here. Copy. I'm going to paste this into here, just like this.
Nice.
And then you guys can check it out if you wish. It sounds interesting. I don't know. Again, those claims are hard to know what to do with because they're pretty sensational.
They are.
They're very sensational claims, and it's hard to know,
Well, and the thing is as you said, you don't know what to believe in that situation because there's nobody else that's experiencing this, right?
Right.
She's the only one, and to be that person, she could be making it up. How would we know?
Yeah, exactly. That's, I guess, without saying it, that's kind of my hesitation. It's like the claims are so far different than what I would have expected. Now, it's not any revelation that the small grays are considered to be a subservient species or race to the large grays. They're kind of considered the drones or the working class, and if that's the case, that makes sense because if you look at ants or bees, which are other hive colonies, all the workers and all the other ants are female. There aren't any males. So, the fact that she took this to be a female being, whether artificial or otherwise, it didn't. That was under the control of something much more superior, and so maybe that does lend it credibility. I don't know. Oftentimes we're all spitballing this stuff just based on hunches or supposition, and so there's no way to know. But it is different. Artificial construct. Well, if they can build interstellar spacecraft, I guess they could probably do a robot. Do a robot all right.
Hey, Data.
Yeah, exactly. Whip up a positronic brain or two, and away you go. You got the drones. So it's kind of curious. It's an interesting parallel, but it's just a new take on it. Believe it or not, again, it's up to you. I don't know. I don't have much advice for you here. Now, I think about one of the last things we're going to cover, of course, is an article by Mr. Brent Swanson. And this is one that, let me close this. Let me close some stuff here because I got a lot of stuff open for a long time now. And where am I going? Here we go. This is an article from Brent Swanson, and it's from mysteriousuniverse.org. Again, please go support mysteriousuniverse.org. Go support Phantoms and Monsters as well. Great site as well. Lon does an amazing job over there putting that site up full of information. But, Brent Swanson's been a friend of the show for a long time, and here's one that he sent over, and it's Ancient Native Mystery Beasts and the Dover Demon. So now we're getting into it, folks. Time to hit that cryptid trail. We're going to go into mysteriousuniverse.org's Brent Swanson article, and hope you enjoy it. It says, throughout the world there are legends and myths of mysterious creatures lurking out of the fringes of what we understand. And these take a myriad of forms, as varied as the cultures that have spawned them. While most of the time these beasts and entities are strictly confined to myth and folklore, there are, on occasions, some that seem to pop out from the realm of human imagination and seemingly inhabit the world for real. Perhaps more than a mere legend, one of these is an ancient creature spoken of by the native people of Canada, and which could possibly be tied to one of the strangest series of humanoid experience or sightings on record. Among the many myths and legends of the proud Cree people of the eastern Canada are some that stand out as especially intriguing. And one of these is the creatures known as the Managishi. These beings are traditionally described as being small humanoids covered in gray rough skin, standing about 3 or 4 feet in height, with extremely long and thin arms, topped with 12 fingers that are and large bulbous heads with large glowing eyes without hair, and with no discernible nose, and although always naked, they display no sexual organs, making them rather androgynous. The Managishi are said to be mischievous tricksters prone to playing pranks on human beings. And while this is typically harmless fun, they are also told of having the treacherous habit of hiding in rocks by the river to capsize canoes. At first glance, it seems as if these entities must be purely mythical constructs, but the Cree always saw them not as spirits or magical beings, but rather a very real, matter-of-fact creature of the landscape. And add to this some very odd sightings of creatures that seem to fit the description of the Managishi, and there has been some talk in cryptozoological circles that there may be more to these creatures than just old native legends. Oh, there's a depiction. Yeah, that is creepy. Does look like a little gray, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. By far, the sightings most linked to the legend of the Managishi occurred over a period of several days in April of 1977 in the vicinity of Dover, Massachusetts. The string of sightings kicked off on April 21st, 1977 with the first and perhaps the most well-known account of what would go on to become known as the Dover Demon. On this evening, 3 teenagers by the names of Bill Bartlett, Mike Mazoka, and Andy Brody were driving along the darkened road called Farm Street at approximately 10:30 p.m. when Bartlett noticed some movement atop a rock wall. He didn't think much of it at first, assuming that it was just a cat or some other animal, but when he glanced in its direction and the glow of the headlights illuminated it more fully, he could soon see it was anything but. Bartlett would claim that he had seen a crouched over hairless humanoid form with an oversized oval head and huge lidless eyes that were bright orange and had a glassy sheen to them. Its arms were described as being incredibly long, spindly, tipped with long fingers, and had a body shaped like a baby. Its skin was described as pinkish in color, with a texture like wet sandpaper. The outlandish creature apparently stared right at him before slinking off into the night without a sound. When the startled and scared Bartlett told his friends about it, it turned out that they had not seen it, and they went back to look for the odd creature, but it was gone. Bartlett would later sketch the creature he had seen, and this drawing has become perhaps the most iconic image of the Dover Demon. Bartlett would swear by his account, and it seems that he wasn't lying because that very same evening there would be another sighting of what seems to have been the same creature by a totally unrelated witness that was the end of the sentence. I better pause for effect. At 12:30 a.m., just 2 hours after Bartlett's sighting, 15-year-old John Baxter was walking along Miller's High Road on his way home from his girlfriend's house, and as he did, he noticed a short figure walking down the road towards him. Baxter allegedly called out to it thinking it was a person, perhaps a boy who lived nearby, but there was no response. As it approached, Baxter could see that there was something off about the figure. It was only about 3 feet high and seemed to have long, inhumanly thin arms and legs. He picked up his pace to get a better look, and that was when the creature leapt off the road to go running into some rocks at incredible speed, where it stood leaning against a tree to stare at him. It was described as having a large oval head, 2 saucer-shaped eyes, and a body that looked like that of a scrawny monkey. Afraid that the creature might be dangerous, Baxter vacated the area as fast as he could. He too would draw a picture of what he had seen, and it looks amazingly similar to Bartlett's own representation. This is I don't know who drew what, but I think this is the one Bartlett drew.
Right.
The very next evening, the strange entity would rear its head again. On this occasion, Will Tainter and Abby Brabham were driving along Springdale Avenue on their way to Brabham's house late that night. The drive was fairly uneventful until the light of the headlights. Brabham claimed to have seen a thin, hairless humanoid creature reminiscent of a monkey down on all fours. With a large head and green glowing eyes and no apparent ears or mouth or nose, the sighting was very brief, but Brabham was sure that there is no known animal, and her own sketch of it would bear an uncanny resemblance to those of the other witnesses. At the time these surreal reports made the news, and there was a minor panic surrounding it all, and although there were some who thought it was a hoax, none of the separate witnesses knew each other, nor had heard of each other's reports when they had their own disparate sightings. And all of them sketched pretty much the same thing. Famed cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman, who actually interviewed the witnesses, and is indeed the one to coin the word Dover Demon, said that he was convinced that they were telling the truth, or at least they believed they were. Although sightings after that are rare, there have been other accounts of what seems to be perhaps the same thing. One such report comes from as recently as 2004 from a witness named Evan Walsh of Dover, Massachusetts, who claims that he was driving home from a friend's house at around 11 p.m. when he had his bizarre encounter, of which he says, "As I turned on a woodland road off of Route 16, I was shocked and startled by 3 black crows that flew right in front of my windshield. Pretty odd for 11. I composed myself and continued driving. I took back roads to Bridge Street in Sherborne, to get to Farm Street in Dover. And after I went around the hairpin turn, anyone in the area knows the turn, and began to go over the bridge to cross the Charles River, I noticed a dark, shadowy object move swiftly, had to get my lips working, from the woods to the center of the road where it stopped. It turned its large round head towards me slowly and glared at me with giant round eyes about the size of tennis balls. It stood on 4 legs and was completely hairless. It didn't have any tail either, and the size of a huge dog, i.e. or Great Dane, but much stockier. Had a triangle-shaped ears and snickered snout that reminded me of some drawings I had seen in history books of the devil. I came to a stop and stared it down for a good 5 seconds before it slowly turned its head and swiftly disappeared into the woods to my right. I have no idea what it was, but I do know that it was not a dog or coyote or anything I have ever seen before. Yeesh. Another report comes from Reddit forum on humanoids encounters from a witness who seems to have seen something that could have been the Dover demon. He claims that he had been out exploring a wooded area with his girlfriend and roommate one evening at around 7 p.m. when they were suddenly overwhelmed with a thick sense of palpable dread that none of them could explain. This is followed by an owl flying right by their heads.
Oops.
Yeah, and then jarring sound from off in the distance that sounded like quieted thunder, metal hitting metal. And this is where things would get real strange real fast, the witness says. We all looked at each other trying to make sense of what the hell we had just heard and started walking briskly back towards the civilization. We heard what sounded like twigs snapping in the woods behind us, and my girlfriend and I turned around to see what made the noise. Peeking from behind the tree, the owl just flew behind, was what looked like an impossibly tall ghost white humanoid shape, with one hand on the tree trunk as it peered out from behind it. Before we could get a good look at its face, it quickly retreated back to behind the tree and out of sight. My girlfriend and I looked at each other, panicked. She opened her mouth to say something, and I told her, "Don't talk about it. We need to walk faster."
No doubt.
My roommate looked at us confused and nearly scared by what I had just said. So I told her we needed to probably run home at this point, which we did. I've told a few people this story and no one believes me, but what I saw was not the owl that I had seen earlier. This being had a clear ghost white hand on the tree trunk, a neck and an upper body that was tall. I'd say like 7 feet at least, not tall enough to reach the branches of the tree though. I wish I could have made out the face. It was just so dark, and the only reason I could see it was because of how white it was.
Yeah. Wow.
Other than the large size, this being sounds very much like the Dover demon. It could be considered a possible sighting. There have been many theories as to what the Dover demon could have been, ranging from the somewhat plausible to the absurd. Of course, there is the idea that this was some sort of alien creature or interdimensional interloper finding its way into our reality. Another idea is that it was just a misidentified animal.
Of course.
Of course. There's all kinds of those out there, Don. Including the suggestion that it was nothing more than a baby moose.
No.
Which seems not to be something that would be mistaken for a hairless, slim
Exactly.
humanoid with its large glowing eyes. The new idea has been bandied about is, of course, that this could be actual sightings of that Cree being the Manigishi, rather, as the region is not far from eastern Canada, and the appearance of the two is uncannily similar. Could it be that this is what people are seeing and labeling the Dover demon? A seemingly mythological creature proving to be very real? Of course, this is just one idea of many, and there is no way to know, but it does give some weight to the idea that sometimes mythological creatures can be more than myth. And it is interesting to ponder, at the very least.
Right. Well, what if that wasn't actually... Okay, so theory thinking, ideas, thoughts. What if the Dover demon was actually a young rake? What if what they saw, the ghostly hand and the 7-foot tall thing, was a rake? What if we go back to what if it was the grown-up Dover demon that's now a full-grown rake?
Yikes.
But it doesn't talk about, the Dover demon, the Pine Barrens in New Jersey is where that was supposed to have started, right? So, we're talking about that area.
Sure.
So, but, is there any graveyards around there that they long forgotten?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because it's basically the backwoods of New Jersey. Who knows?
It is. They're creepy little things, though, or big things, as it may be. But never in any of those accounts was there any kind of aggression that I could see.
Digger dog, it's a rock rake, for like Zen gardens.
What?
Because Digger dog asks, lawn rake or grass rake? It's a rock rake.
Rock rake. I want a rock.
Oh, boy.
Well, it's hard to say, this is just more of the stuff that pops up.
Yeah.
Folks, and none of which we have any answers to, but we still love to ponder it all the same.
We have lots of ideas, but no answers.
Well, this is what the beauty of the show is we all have ideas. And
That's right.
And I assume that most of you are here because you're at least curious about this stuff. Now, I'm assuming part of the number of you out there have experiences.
Yeah.
And you've seen things in your own life that that we don't have this figured out at all. This whole reality thing is nebulous at best.
Right.
And that's me. That's me. It's just I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. I don't pretend to know why I've seen what I've seen. I know it's not supposed to exist. I know that the prevailing theories are that all that stuff is fantastic musings of an idle mind or a dull mind or a bored mind. But
Yeah.
I was none of those.
Right.
In all of my accounts, I wasn't just sitting around fascinating and imagining these things. They just happen. And when they do, all you can do is just, come to terms with it because
Roll with it, baby.
yeah, as best as you can. Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do, right? So, and again, it's what we've talked about many, many times is like when the paranormal happens, it stands your world on its head.
Yeah.
And you're left with the pieces of what you once knew.
Right.
And so what do? You just, I don't know. I think that for the most part, it's very, very benign stuff. I think it really is. There are some creepy, horrible hauntings. There are some, some people have, gotten into dealings with negative, dark things they would rather not have. But for the most part, all of this stuff just seems to be, again, the incidentals, the breadcrumbs that show us this world is way more intense and unknown than we could possibly imagine.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think, Don?
Dope. Dope. Aw. That is kind of a mind-blowing thing, There's just so many possibilities. You just can't nail anything down, really.
Yeah, I know I can't. And that's the beauty of this forum, though, is that it gives us a chance to come together and discuss these things. And of course, if you are out there with a lot of stories and you'd like to talk about them and wouldn't mind being a guest on our podcast, please reach out via email if you would. And I'll definitely work with you to try to figure out when we can get together and have a discussion.
Yep.
It's, I've got some great interviews coming up. We've done some amazing interviews already as the show has progressed, the podcast as the live show as well.
Right.
I just love diving into this stuff and trying to figure out, what we can answer. Maybe with enough stories, we kind of get to some basis of understanding. And, with enough people talking about the phenomena, does it reinforce what other people have seen? Is it something new and different?
Right.
I just love this journey. I really do. This is the old adage. We do a lot of shows here in the portal, and oftentimes people are like, how do you guys do it? Well,
Every day.
but we love it,
Right.
This is what we love. And it's that old adage, if you find something you love doing, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's this. I spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day digging into this stuff, reading, researching, finding things, trying to keep developing this show to make sure it's the best that I can make it for you guys, because I love doing this. And, you guys definitely make that experience more worthwhile. If you're new to the show, if you just happened in tonight and you're just kind of checking it out,
Congratulations, you're a weirdo.
you're a weirdo just like us. But we'd love to have you become part of the weird family that we are. please hit that subscribe button on your screen.
Are you going to do your music thing?
Oh, I could.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got the energy for it.
Oh, well, you're sounding good.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the portal and you just found your way in here, please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you be part of the show. And if you hit the button and ring the bell, you'll know exactly when we're live doing what we do. We don't always know what we're doing, but we always do it as well as we can. And we'd love to have you be a part of it. Please feel free to share any of these streams to your social media and let other people know. Share it to groups or whatever where people are talking about the paranormal. We'd love to have more and more of you find us and become part of what we're doing. And by all means, spread the word. It means the world to us. So with that, we can only say we love you guys.
Wow. See, you had it in you.
I don't know what I got in me, Don. The spirit moved me.
Oh, wrong one. Okay. There, that's the one.
That's the applause. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
So I don't know. You know, I'm sorry tonight, folks. I'm feeling a little bit gassed out. So, but I did make it the whole show. We did make the whole show, Don.
Yay!
And maybe a few minutes shy of our normal cutoff time, but that's about all I got fumes for tonight.
Running on fumes, are we?
Well, I'm just, I don't sleep real well anyway.
Yeah,
Never do.
That. I got like 2 hours last night. I woke up, went to bed at 9, woke up at 11:30, had to pee, and that was about it.
Must have been a hell of a
Up
pee.
for the rest of the night. Well, it only took like 2 minutes to do.
Oh,
the
I thought
thing,
it was a
so.
whole night thing.
Well, sometimes it feels like it's like am I still peeing?
Don's like Tom Hanks in The Green Mile.
Oh!
Yeah. No.
Hey, boss.
I'm dog tired.
I'm dog tired.
Yeah. So anyway, we love you guys. I hope you guys are having a good time.
Well, Hilton, I don't know what to tell you. Dollar short and a minute late,
You never know what you're going to miss here, Hilton, but it's good to see you. Thanks for coming in. And who is here, by the way?
Oh, you know what? Shout outs. Well, they better say something quick because, we only got so much time for that. And only chatters who are actively chatting get shout outs.
Yeah.
So let's start. Oh, my goodness. This is a short one. Aiden's here. Bigfoot Michigan Rob's here. Brad's here. Cookie Jarvis is here. Mr. Digger Dog Hilton is here. Justin Goodearth, Lewis Maribon, and Stone Hobbit is all I see with us tonight.
That's all you got on the list?
That's all that's on the list. But I know, there's like, a Toasty Ghosty, whatever she's going by
Pam
today.
McC just popped in.
Oh, yep.
She's
Yeah, I
great
see
show,
Pam
guys.
McC. Yeah, there you go.
Very cool.
But, that's literally all I see on the list. So everybody else is just not here.
Well, they're just kicking back and relaxing. Ghostly Bestie is here.
Yeah.
Ghosty Bestie.
Yeah, toasty ghosty. Toasted ghosty. But Rachel gets it right here. There you go. Something quick, she said. Good idea.
It's okay. Good night, Mom. It's okay if you just sit back and relax. You don't have to chat.
Just listen in and the giving love. That's all that matters.
Yep.
I have noticed we haven't had any thumbs down tonight.
Oh, don't do that. What'd you do? What'd you say that for?
Because, had to jinx it.
Thanks, Don.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Well, folks, I think that's all we got in the tank for tonight.
Yep.
Hope you guys enjoyed the journey. I'm going to go
Thanks, Ghosty.
stretch out on the couch and
bestie.
relax. But remember, Don will be here on Saturday.
That's the plan.
You're coming on Saturday, so we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow night with the Night Terrors, and we'll go into an hour of fun then and the 2 hours on Friday. Not sure what we'll dig up for Friday, but you never know. I'll just do my best to make sure it's a hell of a ride.
Brad, you're awesome. Thank you.
What did Brad say?
Brad says you guys are killing the game. I don't know if that's like killing good or killing bad, but thanks.
Right. Is that a raising the bar or lowering it? Which killing are we working with here?
Show me what you're working with.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Well, anyways, we love you guys. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And we'll be back tomorrow night. So hope you'll join me then. And if you want to reach out, please email paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to answer you as quickly as I can. So That's all I got, Don. Anything?
Nope, that's it. I've already done my announcement in the middle of the show, so there you go. Teespring.
Teespring. Check out the description if you want to know any of the corresponding links. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Paranormal Portal Radio. And check out the Paranormal Portal fans group on Facebook as well. It's a booming community for all of you guys, like-minded people, talking about the weirdness that is the paranormal. So that's all we got, folks. But take care, be good, and I'll be back tomorrow night. Hope you'll join me then, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Wednesday through Sunday night. There's a live portal going on. So if you're wondering when to be here, 7 p.m.
There you go.
I'll be here waiting for you. I'll turn the lights on and everything.
Wow.
All right. Good night, everybody. Love you.
Good night.